What's going on? It's your cousin Polly Rob. Welcome to another episode of the Polly Rob Podcast. I appreciate everybody showing love. Make sure you like and subscribe, and all the information on how to support my channel is right here at the bottom of the screen. I appreciate y'all. Let's get right to it. Verzuz. If you don't know what Verzuz is, it is a music battle between legendary artists, legendary groups, legendary producers. It actually started from legendary producers. And now it has grown into a multi-million-dollar company that not only shows our legends true love and respect, but also helps drive the narrative of the legendary artists that we have always grown to love, rejuvenate their catalogs, and also it's just a celebration. The event is just a celebration. They do it on live. Now they do it on live with Complex. Shout out to Timberland. Shout out to Swizz Beatz. They are co-owners of the Verzuz platform. And we got a new Verzuz. You know what I'm saying? We got a new Verzuz. B2K versus Pretty Ricky. B2K versus Pretty Ricky. Now, if you're not into R&B like that, you're not into classic R&B, I get it. This might not be for you. But for those who remember the era, who remember the era of B2K and Pretty Ricky, who remember the era of the clubs at 12 o'clock, they playing slow jams, that remember the era of the 12 o'clock R&B before you end the night, you got to make sure you grind on this one particular person at the club, the one you've been watching all night. Make sure you get her number, make sure you get his number before the night is over. Where the clubs was really in prime time dance mode, grind mode. It got real freaky at 12 o'clock, I'm gonna be honest. B2K and Pretty Ricky was a part of that era. You know what I'm saying? They made some amazing music, amazing dope joints, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they run, both of their runs lasted a significant amount of time to recognize them as some of the best boy groups ever. You know what I'm saying? Ever. Now, no matter if you are a B2K fan or a Pretty Ricky fan, you enjoyed both groups' music. But we all know the ladies were very particular about who they chose. You know what I'm saying? B2K being more of a R&B pop boy group, and then Pretty Ricky being a lot more of like a southern, you know what I'm saying, rap and R&B group at the same time, because their dynamic is a little bit different. They ended up doing the Verzuz today, and I gotta say, first things first, man. I love it when our legends keep themselves together. B2K and Pretty Ricky both came out fly. They both came out in their element. They was actually, you know, wearing something that they would wear at a tour. They really put themselves together. They look clean cut. Everybody had their lineups, shape ups. Across the board on stage, both groups and their entourages, we look at them and we say like, yo, these guys are taking good care of themselves, which is always a good thing. We love to see our legends take care of themselves. You know what I'm saying? When it came to the records, I mean, let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? We all know that B2K had more hits than Pretty Ricky. I mean, when you just add it all up, B2K had more hits. But people keep forgetting that Verzuz is not about how many hits you have. It's about which hit is competing with which record is competing with what record when it comes down to it. So depending on how you put together your set list is depending on whether you have the better Verzuz. On top of that, the one thing that I loved is that each one of the singers are part of both groups. They all had their mics was turned up. I mean, you can hear a little bit of the background vocals in each of their songs, in B2K songs and in the Pretty Ricky songs. Pretty Ricky more so had their main vocals in there too. But still their mics were up and you could still hear each of them. You know what I'm saying? Which is a good thing. You know what I mean? I mean, Versus is not like a full-on performance. You don't have to full-on perform, but for those who do it, we appreciate you for sure. We definitely appreciate you. I love the element of the crowd. The crowd was a mixture of like, people from the B2K and Pretty Ricky era, but it was also some young people too that probably they know about the music, lightly, but they was jamming along with it too. The crowds wasn't screaming and going crazy like they would at the concert, but that's okay because it's a good combination of a selection of people that was in there. The one thing that I like is that both groups was having fun. They was both cracking on each other, both cracking jokes. There was also both, showing love to each other. You could tell that they've been around each other for a while. I mean, in terms of both groups. B2K's been around Pretty Ricky. Pretty Ricky's been around B2K. They have history together of probably performing on tours, performing at different clubs, and I'm pretty sure making records with each other at some point in time as well. They came out around the same time, so you could see the camaraderie and the friendship in both of them. One thing I love was, everybody knows that B2K has went through so many different changes and arguments and breakups and coming back together. We all know that. I felt like this is one of the first times in a long time that we actually got a chance to see B2K like really back to their energy and their synergy, I would say, with each other. And that's a great thing. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a B2K fan. I got to be honest. I wasn't. But I did like the fact that there was some young dudes that was really putting on for, the R&B culture and really doing what they doing. So I really respected that. But I didn't like all the breakup stuff, breaking up as a group, arguing with each other, going their separate ways is fine. But I don't want to see nobody bickering and going after each other. You know what I'm saying? These guys are brothers. Regardless of how they put together the group, they're brothers. They're brothers by way of connection and experiences. They've been through things together. You know what I mean? And it's just real. It's just real. So I love to see that their energy was great and put together. I love the way Pretty Ricky, they came through in full red leather, doing their thing, shining, and you could tell that they've always been locked in. You could tell those boys always been locked in, and I love that. It was a good versus. It was definitely a good versus, good energy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to really say who won. Y'all let me know in the comments who won the versus. I'm not going to say, who won the versus, but I will say we need more versus like these two groups. Let me explain. Mostly versus, situations are usually major artists. Major artists, major writers, you know what I'm saying? They try to get the biggest artists they can. But in my opinion, I feel like I'm gonna say smaller artists for lack of a better word. But, artists who have probably about 8 to 10 records. I think those verses are better because it brings in a niche of fans that are dedicated to those groups or those artists. And then also, at the same time, it's like, I think that they have a better chance of putting together a set list to combat against the other person a lot better. Like, I would love to see a MOP, MOP Onyx versus. I would love to see that. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see I would say when Mario did the verses, I love that. I forgot who he did the verses against, but I would love to see those things because I would love to see Sammy do a verses against somebody. Like, I don't know. Like, I like the verses that have not the superstars. I don't want the superstar verses. I mean, it's cool and all, but I want to see the artists, the real cultured artists that they put on for a certain era. Let's just call it that. Let's just call it the era artist. I want to see an artist from a particular era battle with another artist from either that same era or a new era. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's, let's say like I don't know, like let's say like a group like SWV, right? SWV from the 90s era, let's say if they do a versus with somebody from the 2000s era, y'all put it in the comments who that should be. But I would love to see that because they're like an equivalent style of group. They're just from a different era. I would love to see things like that. I would love to see things like that. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what y'all think in the comments, what type of verses you want to see. Overall, I'm going to enjoy these verses. I'm going to enjoy, watching groups like this because, I mean, to be honest, I forgot that, Pretty Ricky and B2K had so many records that touched so many people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's dope. And that's dope. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. Who won the B2K and Pretty Ricky verses? You know what I'm saying? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Y'all already know what it is. Workload.